Hey, welcome back everyone. I am Dean from Scenescapeshop. This is your Coffee Break Thursday. Today we're going to do a landscape. And the reason being, when I've posted my paintings on art groups and things on Facebook, I've had a lot of questions about how I do mountains. The most important thing is technique. And it's technique over tool. The tool that I'm talking about in particular is the almighty palette knife. This, although you wouldn't know it because it's in a bit of a state, this is a Bob Ross palette knife. Doesn't matter if you don't have a Bob Ross palette knife. You don't need an expensive tool. You don't need one made out of gold or anything. A butter knife will do. The technique is more important than the tool. Now, a lot of people hold the knife, and because they hold it so firmly, the paint doesn't break properly, so the snow doesn't look right on the mountains. Two stages to the mountains. Okay, the first stage is, yes, you've got to be aggressive with it. You've got to be mean with it. You've got to scrape it into the canvas to get the underlay on correctly, the dark color. Later on, though, when you get the roll of paint on the edge of your knife, it's not even the knife that contacts the canvas. It's actually the roll of paint on the very edge of the knife that you're just spreading. Okay, don't grip it and hold on for dear life. Hold it very light. Remember that trick? The pencil trick? I used to look like it was a wobbly. That trick. Hold it that light. Hold it so that you nearly drop it. Okay? And it's just, you have to hold it flat to the canvas, not angled, because you'll struggle to spread the paint if you hold it angled. Flat to the canvas with the roll on the edge. Okay? And the roll of the paint contacts the canvas and drag it down. Slowly but surely. Okay. Sound effects are optional. I heartily recommend siang and woo. That all being said, we'll go straight into it. Put the kettle on, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, so this canvas had been primed in liquid white, which is why the paint's running so smoothly on it. All I've done is just use some oil paint, some orange and some Indian yellow oil paint on the sky. Nice loose brush, stroke. You never see a rigid sky, do you? So it's always got different tones to it, so just paint it nice and free. And now we're going to start with the mountain. So like I said before, there's 2 stages of the mountain. First stage, yes, you've got to be aggressive with it. You've got to be mean. Just force it into the canvas and scrape it along. What you want to do as well is you want to scrape off any of the excess paint. Because what you don't want to do on the second stage is when you do roll that piece of paint that I was talking about on the edge of your palette knife, you don't want that to produce what people call mud, where it just blends the 2 paints together and you just create a very flat looking mountain. You want it to pop. You want it to look 3D. So what we'll do is after we've scraped all this off, like so, after that it's ready for the next stage. Create a bit of mist on the base of the mountain and put some shading down on each side of the mountain. Like we said, holding the palette knife nice and loose. And just like that, you've got a lovely 3D looking mountain. You've got different shades, looking at all the different crevices in the mountain as well. People would look at it and maybe think that you spent a couple of days on that, and you've just done it in literally the length of the song there. So we did put a dark colour down first, and then we put some highlight down, and because it's a lovely orange sky as well, I just mixed some Indian yellow with the titanium white just to give it that glow effect on the right hand sides. What we're going to do next is start on the trees. All I've done here is mix some alizarin crimson together with some Prussian blue. Again, when you see trees in shadow and stuff, nothing's ever black. So try and steer away from just producing flat black shadows and things. This is just a mixture, like I say, of red and blue, which will give us the option as well of putting a nice highlight on the sides of the trees for when the sun hits it as well. And after that, we're going to produce some nice calm water as well, leading up to the foreground of the picture. This should be a nice easy landscape. And just like that, we have pretty much our picture. So we've got the nice sky, we've got a lovely mountain, we've put our trees on, and what I'm doing now is I'm just doing some quick tree trunk effects. All I've done is mix some of that orange and Indian yellow with the titanium white, and because you're holding the palette knife right, it breaks up, so it's not just one straight rigid line of a tree trunk. That would look odd. It would be a tree trunk with tree and foliage behind the tree trunk, which is obviously what you don't want. Putting some of the reflections in as well. Don't forget your reflections. And we'll go over them in a sec, just to brush them up and make them look a bit more like water. If you find the water effect isn't looking too great on your pictures, what I do sometimes is if you wash your paintbrush in baby oil and don't quite dry it, then go over it. It gives it that lovely reflective glow on the water. Just create some nice bank shots here and some detail in the foreground. Again, we're not using just plain black because that would look flat. So I'm mixing a little bit of black with again alizarin crimson and Prussian blue. And once that underlays down, we don't just leave it. We'll put some detail down using the palette knife again. And this you might be able to see a bit closer, some of the details I would do. I'll put some still rocks as well in the middle of the water here. Granted, they don't look like rocks at the minute, but they will. So just keep an eye on the way I'm holding the palette knife. Look how flat it is to the canvas. Just blending some just background detail on these rocks here with the paintbrush. Don't forget your reflections. Just pull it down like so. And then we go with the palette knife. Bit of titanium white, bit of orange, and some Indian yellow. Don't cover the whole thing. You want that paint to break, which is why I'm holding the palette knife nice and flat, nice and loose. And let the paint do the work for you. There we go. Put some shade on it in a second. I'll let the paint dry. But that should be darker on the back of it with the sun hitting it from the back of the bin. Bit of water detail. This is just titanium white. Flatten it out. Did the same with the water as well, making the water breaks. And again, palette knife, nice and light, very light touch, as if you're going to drop it. Just let the paint break. Nice and easy. And with that, we are done. This painting's available on eBay as an original. There are also prints available on my Etsy store, etsy.com/shop/Scenescapeshop. And that's us about done. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to stay till the end as well, folks, where you can see how the painting will look in the Scenescapeshop motion picture frames.